Dear friends, welcome to the masterclass series on diabetic foot ulcers. Throughout my career as a surgeon, which has been over a span of almost 30 years, one thing which I have realized is that two branches, that is proctology and diabetic foot, have never been taught to most of us in a proper way, even during our post graduation days. In my opinion, even today, these are the two most neglected branches in the field of surgery. Most of you know about my keen interest in proctology. The other field where I specialize is diabetic foot. I have planned to come out with a masterclass series on diabetic foot ulcers. Each talk is going to be of 10 to 15 minutes approximately, which I will be sharing with you through YouTube. For constant updates, you can subscribe to my channel. You can post your comments and suggestions in the comment box. These videos are just for educational purposes. And in case any patient is watching all these videos, I will always advise them to consult their physician or a surgeon before going for any particular treatment. So, as I said, the first topic is going to be biofilms. Biofilms are probably the most important single cause of persistent delayed wound healing. So let us first try to understand what a biofilm is. Biofilm is adherence of bacteria and fungi to the surface of the wound, leading to delayed healing. Normally, it is formed within 24 hours, and over 60% of chronic wounds and 6% of acute wounds may have biofilms. Now, when the biofilm production is taking place, there is a very peculiar behavior of bacteria where they sense each other, and this is a physiological process which is called quorum sensing. Now, this is a process by which the bacteria they start coming together. So let us first try to understand what is quorum sensing. Quorum sensing is a physiological process by which bacteria communicate with each other. And we can, in other words, we can say, like we as human beings have got, a common language to communicate with each other. Similarly, bacteria, they also communicate with each other. And this is by releasing, sensing, and responding to signal molecules. So basically, there are signal molecules which are responsible for the bacteria coming together. So first step in this is the synthesis, that is multiplication. We know the bacteria, they contain DNA, and from there they start multiplying. After that is recognition. Now the bacteria send signal molecules where they can recognize the bacteria of their own species as well as other species also. And finally, there is a response from the host which is severe, that is virulence may be there. So three stages are there: synthesis, recognition, and response. Now coming to the composition of biofilm. Biofilm is a group of microorganisms that are encased within an extracellular matrix of polysaccharides, proteins, and glycoproteins referred to as extracellular polymeric substance. Now, this is the EPS, that is extracellular polymeric substance, which is present. You can make out it forms a coating. So, once the coating is present, the bacteria, they are entrapped underneath. You can see over there. So this is what forms the biofilm. And this is the coat, that is EPS, which we have to penetrate by using either antibiotics or antiseptic solutions or by removing them, so that the biofilm is removed and then the wound healing can be enhanced. Now, coming to the steps in the formation of biofilm, the first step is attachment. Now, we know there are planktonic cells. Now, planktonic cells are those bacteria which are present, which are free floating. They are present, but they are not adherent to a surface, so they are free floating bacteria. So, once they become attached with the surface, then they lead to proliferation, that is colonization. And after that, there is maturation. Now, this is the phase of maturation, and finally, then they go for detachment. Now, once the maturation phase is over, the detachment starts, the biofilm starts spreading. So, that is the reason the whole wound gets covered by a biofilm. And the process, as I already said, involved, which is from maturation to detachment, and for matrix formation, that is EPS, the process which is involved is the quorum sensing. Now, coming to the mechanism of action, now microbes, they get attached to the surface, as I already told you, and the bacteria, they have got fimbria and pili. So these are the things which help the bacteria to adhere to a surface. And once they adhere, they start secreting EPS, that is extracellular polymeric substance, now which creates a protective environment for microorganisms. You can make out the EPS over there. Now this is the coating which already explained to you, and these are the entrapped bacteria. So it is very important that this EPS coating which is there, it has to be removed. Now EPS affects the structure of biofilm, making it resistant to antibacterial defenses. That means once EPS is present, then the antiseptic solutions which we are using locally, we have to choose very carefully which is a solution which will penetrate the biofilm, or the antibiotics, because the EPS will not allow the antiseptic solutions or the antibiotics to penetrate the biofilm. Now, coming to the types of biofilm, they may be benign or pathogenic. Now, benign means the bacteria are present, but there is no infection or there is no disease. Example, the best example is skin. Now, we know even if we take a swab from our skin and if we send it to laboratory for culture sensitivity, bacteria will be there and the commonest will be staph. But these bacteria are not harmful and they don't multiply like that. They don't colonize, they don't multiply. Why so? Because we know the skin contains, the skin layer, it is acidic in nature. That means the pH is approximately 5.5 to 5.6. So once the pH is acidic, as such bacteria do not multiply. And of course we know that when a chronic wound is there, the pH is alkaline. It is more than 7, 7.2 onwards. So that means once the wound is alkaline, then only bacteria start growing. So in benign condition, the bacteria are present, but they do not grow. Another example we can take is of GI tract. Now we know E. coli, Klebsiella, and bacteroid species. Now these are the three bacteria which are normally present in GI tract. They do colonize, but they do not cause any infection. So pathogenic biofilm, now this is formed as a result of enhanced development of EPS, as already mentioned. And once there is enhanced development of EPS, it leads to chronic inflammation. We know in normal circumstances, the inflammatory phase, it lasts only for a few days. But once it becomes chronic, then the inflammatory phase lasts for many, many days, or it can last for many weeks or maybe months sometimes. So basic difference between planktonic and biofilm. Planktonic, they are free floating bacteria and they are free living bacteria. Now they can be eliminated by host immune system. You don't need anything to remove them. And in wound management, historically, the focus of research was on cultures, antibiotic therapy, and topical antimicrobial agents based on planktonic bacteria. Now things have slightly changed. Like, for example, previously we were told to go for a swab culture sensitivity. Now, swab from a wound is not at all indicated. We always say go for tissue because the tissue culture sensitivity, if we send it for cultures, only then we can make out the exact organism which is present over there. Because in case you go for a swab, as already I have mentioned that historically it was the swab cultures which were taken. So when the bacteria are planktonic, it may not be a very affecting bacteria. On the contrary, when it is a biofilm which is present, it's better to go for tissue cultures. Now we will come to that when we are discussing about the investigation part. So coming to the biofilm again, the biofilm as compared to planktonic, it is a complex structure of adherent bacteria. Means it is a cell which is enclosed in a protective polysaccharide matrix, that is APS. It is protected from phagocytosis by macrophages and neutrophils, and it is highly tolerant to antibiotics and antimicrobial agents. So this is the third point, the antibiotic and antimicrobial agents. This is the most important part why in the presence of biofilms the wound does not heal. We keep on giving good antibiotics according to culture sensitivity. We keep on using antiseptic solutions locally, but still the wound does not heal because maybe the antiseptic solution which we are using, that is not acting on the biofilm. So what is the significance? It decreases the drug penetration. It prevents formation of healthy granulation tissue, maintains the inflammatory phase. It impairs migration and proliferation of keratocytes. Now we know keratocytes, they secrete keratin, and keratin is a type of protein which helps in the wound healing. And further, it reduces the oxygen supply to the wound. Now, what is the correlation between biofilms and spread of infection? Now, first of all, we should know what is contamination, colonization, and what is infection. Contamination means the bacteria, they are present, but they are not replicating. For example, a roadside accident. Patient comes to us, we say the wound is contaminated. So bacteria may be present along with the other foreign material, but at that time, at that particular time, they are not replicating. So that is called a contaminated wound. Colonization means bacteria are present and they are replicating. And once there is a response from the host in the presence of bacteria, the condition is called infection. So people may ask you a very simple question, which I think our teachers may be used to ask. What is the difference between colonization and what is the difference between the infection. So the difference between colonization and infection is, in colonization, bacteria are present and they are replicating. But when there is a response from the host, that is a condition which is called infection. And initially, the infection may be local, and then there may be spreading type, means it is involving the peri-wound tissue, and then it may be systemic infection, that is septicemia. So once infection is present, whether it is local or it is spreading or systemic, at that time we require some sort of intervention in the form of antibiotics. When to suspect biofilm presence? Well, if there is a delayed healing in spite of optimal standards of care, failure to respond to antibiotics or antiseptics, as already I have told you, repeated episodes of inflammation and infection, high levels of exudate without associated inflammation, and finally, the biofilm, it looks like a gelatinous substance on the wound that returns soon after. According to literature, once you remove the biofilm, it may reform from within 15 minutes to 6 hours. So, why we think biofilm can be a challenge? Well, the biofilm is capable of promoting anaerobic bacteria growth, synergism between different bacteria, that is, different species of bacteria, generating MRSA, that is methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, and it forms a 3D structure which is like a mushroom. So when we talk about biofilms, the structure which we talk is like a mushroom type structures. And as already said, they are present in approximately 60% of chronic wounds. Clinical appearance, it is, you can make out the yellowish colored translucent film which is present over a chronic wound. So it is a translucent and shiny yellowish green colored layer which is covering the ulcer. So how to deal with the biofilm? No single strategy is likely to succeed. So you may have to choose multimodality treatment. For example, you will have to go for frequent debridement. Then topical antiseptics may be required. Then appropriate antibiotics may be required. And then finally, adequate wound bed preparation so that the wound starts healing. So how to remove a biofilm? The processes which are involved, it is wound cleansing. Second is repeated debridement. And finally, a local application of antiseptic solution. So we will be covering this part, that is removal of biofilm, in our next topic. Hope I am very clear about the formation of biofilm, what a biofilm is, and what is the importance of biofilm, and when to suspect a biofilm. So in the next topic, we will be discussing how to deal with biofilms. Thank you very much with me. And finally, do subscribe to the channel so that whenever the next video is there, you can just see that immediately once it is posted. Thank you very much once again. All the best. Bye.